Hey guys, Glenn here from jazzpianolessons.tv. Today we're looking at what modes do we put with what chords and how do we work all that out. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is finding out what mode needs to go with what chord. Now, if you know your chord harmonies, the structure and the makeup of that song pretty well, what you'll find is that you'll start thinking of the chord as not being just a D minor chord or a G7 chord, but you start looking at it in terms of numbers. So when you see D minor going to G7 going to C major 7, what you start to see is 2, 5, 1 rather than a minor chord going to a dominant chord going to a major chord, right? 2 of C, 1, 2, going to the 5, going to the 1. Now, basically what we're doing is we're going to use the second mode, which happens to be Dorian, to start with. Then we're going to use the fifth mode, which is the Mixolydian, and then we're going to use the Ionian or the major scale, which is the first mode. And that's really the basics of modes. So what chord number are you playing? Match that up with the mode that the same number mode. So if you're playing the A minor chord and it's the sixth chord of the key that you're in. So if you're in C major and you play A minor, it's the sixth chord. It's not the 2 chord of G, it's the 6th chord of C. So we'd use the Aeolian, okay? So which means we're just staying in the key of C still. But the A is the center, right? The A is the home for now, at least, right? Before we move on to the next chord. Now that's the basics of it. That's the theory of it. Now, what you could do as starting out jazz musos is if you learnt 3 modes really well, you could get away with a lot of stuff. Now, if you learned the Dorian mode really well, the Mixolydian mode, and the Ionian mode really well, you'll be able to get away with playing 90% of jazz tunes to a medium standard. Okay, so basically what you could do then is every time you see a minor chord, play Dorian. So even if, okay, the A, if the A is the 6th chord, the A minor is the 6th chord, if I don't have to worry too much about that, I could actually just go, okay, it's A minor, I'm going to play a Dorian. Now the reason is it's going to match up okay with the notes that I'm actually playing, okay? It's going to be outside the key for a little while. And in fact, that can actually be a little bit interesting. Okay, so if I treat that as the 2 for now, or I treat that, as I'm going to lower the 3rd and the 7th from A major scale. Okay, that's how I'm going to do my Dorian, right? It means that there's going to be an F sharp in there. Now, F sharp doesn't belong in the key of C. It's closely related to the key of C. So it's okay. It's going to sound okay. And in fact, you actually might think, oh, that's actually desirable in the key of C because it's a little bit different. Okay, so I'm playing the A Dorian, but even in the key of C, it's okay. Now, you'll notice you might have noticed that when you're doing chords and that within one particular key, you'll find that there's 3 different minor chords. Okay, so we've got the 2nd is a minor chord, the 3rd is a minor chord, and the 6th is a minor chord. Now, you can use 3 different modes to play over those to make it okay. Like if you're going to stay in the key of C the whole time, when you go to E, you're actually using a different mode again. You're using the Phrygian mode, right? But if I play the Dorian, I'm actually going to be using an F sharp and a C sharp. Now again, that's not in the key of C, but it's actually going to work okay. Okay, it actually works quite okay to treat that as a, in some ways we're kind of treating it as a 2 chord, okay, or using the second mode. Now this is, I guess, is a cheating way of just getting started, just getting to a point where you can play anything fairly quickly. So in other words, you look at a chord and you say, okay, that's a minor chord, I'm going to play the Dorian. So you just got to know all 12 Dorians, right? Then, whenever you see a dominant chord, G7, A7, D7, E flat 7, anything like that, you're going to make sure that you play the Mixolydian, okay? So it means you're going to have to throw in the flat 7 somewhere, alright? Or think of it as the 5th chord of whatever key you're in, okay? Then, when you see a major chord, you're just going to play the major scale, okay? Now, I mean, basically, most of jazz is made up of minor, dominant and major. Okay, obviously there's a lot more to it than that, but that's the basic building blocks of jazz, and if you can start with those things, those 3 chords and 3 modes, you're on to 90% of being able to play. So here's how you could use it. I'm going to take an example. I'm going to use Autumn Leaves. We've used that before in jazzpianolessons.tv. We're just going to use that one. Got C minor going to F7. B flat going to E flat, A half diminished to D7 flat 9 there I'm using, and then G minor, okay? Now this chord here, and this chord here, the A minor 7 flat 5 and the D7 flat 9, we're not going to play anything over that. We're actually just going to skip over it, okay? Because this is what we're doing. We're actually going to pretend we don't know what to play over those chords for now. Okay, so we've got C minor, so I'm going to play C Dorian. Doesn't matter what key we're in, it happens to be okay because I'm in the key of B flat for a little while, but it wouldn't matter if it wasn't. Okay, so 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, C minor. Alright, now I'm in, so I just went down the scale, started on the guide tone of the 3rd, and now I'm in the 1 of my next chord, which is F7, right? Okay, then I'm going to B flat. So I'm just going to make sure, there's my flat 7, I've got to make sure I'm using the flat 7, not, the E's a little bit clashy, right? Unless you're wanting that sound, obviously, go for it. Okay. B flat. Now I'm still in the same key here, right? And then I'm going to go to E flat major 7. Now here, I could stay in B flat if I wanted to, because that becomes the Lydian, the sharp 4. But I can equally play that A flat, and I could probably get away with it. Okay, so. I'll just skip that. It's okay, there's a little bit of a gap. In fact, a gap is really good. There's beautiful music in the spaces. Okay, so if you don't know what to play, don't play anything. It's okay, No one's going to go, oh, you didn't know what to play. They're probably just really, oh, that was a nice little musical breath, nice little musical full stop or gap or whatever the language that's going to get used. People are actually going to enjoy you taking a rest and giving you a chance to have a breath. Alright, hope that helps, and I'll catch you soon on jazzpianolessons.tv.